Hey guys, Jengar here. Welcome to today's premium review in which we are taking a look at the Swedish or Finnish or German Bf 109 G6 sitting at 4.7 battle rating. Same battle rating as the German one, sits in rank 4. This is the first Swedish rank 4 premium, and of course 109 is always fun. I love the 109 line, and it was great to revisit a little bit. The G6 maximum speed at sea level is 493 without WEP and 551 with. At 4500 meters this is 457 without and 513 with. And finally at 6500 meters this is 438 without WEP and 464 with. Now the war emergency power on this plane is quite capable. You do get a good boost in speed from it, which can be very nice in the vertical and stuff like that. But the general maximum speeds in this plane are not fantastic. I mean, take an example to the P-51C that we reviewed 2 days ago. That one is, well, close to 80 kilometers, 85 kilometers an hour faster in a straight line on the deck. And that is not just a small difference. With WEP, yes, you can build it up, but I mean, the Mustang goes faster without WEP than the Bf 109 with WEP. So and that thing is at 4.0 battle rating. So there's a lot of planes that are faster in straight line speeds, and that is thus a great warning to you that you don't want to use it for boom and running, attacking, and then try to run from people, because there's quite a few planes that can actually run faster in a straight line than this 109. Where this plane shines really is the vertical, the energy fighting and strict boom and zooming, which it's good at. Stall maneuvers, it excels at that. It's an awesome plane for stall maneuvering, really nice. It's a small target as well, so you're difficult to hit. It just all gets into the picture when it comes to energy fighting, stall maneuvering. Fantastic plane, but not the fastest in a straight line. In a dive, the top speed is 751 before she redlines and 820 before she rips apart. Now that is nothing bad, but it is also not spectacular. There is definitely planes that have a much higher rip rate, like the P-51s, but also Thunderbolts and Corsairs and stuff like that. All rip way faster or later. Against, for example, Yaks and stuff, you will always be in the advantage against most Soviet planes, because they just have quicker rip speeds. They rip much earlier, so you can escape from those planes, and well, you have a little bit more difficulty with some of the American planes there. But there's plenty of examples of planes that this thing can outdive. Japanese planes, for example, in general. You will be able to outdive and stuff like that, unless you run into a J2 M2. But yeah, there's always the exception to the rule, right? But this plane is reasonably good in a dive. The control stiffening is also quite nice, with the first big compression at 550 kilometers an hour, especially in the roll rate, and the second one at 650. So the handling in the dive of this plane is quite good, and she stays functional quite late. Just the thing is that you don't start with the most excellent roll rate in the world. You have slightly above average roll rate. There is a small window somewhere between 300 and 500 kilometers an hour where it might be decent, the roll rate, and then after that it goes back to above average. But yeah, nothing spectacular in the roll rate in this plane. Then we move on to the stall speed. She's quite nice in the vertical, as I said. Stall speed lies around 120 kilometers an hour, which is alright, quite good. Firepower is good. You have one 20mm MG 151 cannon with 200 rounds per gun, or you can choose for the 30mm with 65 rounds per gun. This is optional, and you really have to think what you like best. I like the 200 rounds on the MG 151 much more than 65 rounds on a 30mm, but that's just my preference. I mean, there's other ways to go in that sense. I used air targets for the 20mm. That is supported by a both if you choose the 30 or the 20, doesn't matter. It's supported by two 13mm MG 131s with 300 rounds per gun. That is a massive ammo load there on the 13mm. I used air targets on those as well. Stealths are also very capable, but I always prefer the air targets on these. Very nice rounds. And once I do get used, if I would fly the Germans for a while, I would probably use stealth. But I also use the air targets or tracer rounds for the effect it has on the videos. You can see a little bit where I'm shooting and see if I have an on day or an off day. Absolutely. I use 600 meter convergence, but in this plane you can use 800 meters. It doesn't matter. You can even use no convergence at all because these guns are centrally mounted, but I usually use 600 these days and not much else. So we have good firepower with some options there, which is nice, and we have very good ammo loads. This plane can also be equipped with some bombs, 4x50, 1x250, rockets, 2 of them, or you can equip the plane with 30mm pods or 20mm pods. So there is quite a bit of options on this plane. I prefer to fly it without pods because I prefer the performance, but if you prefer the firepower, that is a personal preference. It's definitely not worse or anything. It's just a different choice. You choose for a different kind of plane, more like a 190. More a boom and zoomer then, because you lose the edge in the energy fighting if you equip the pods. So there is that. You become more of a boom and zoomer instead of the energy fighting role that you can use in this plane when flying it clean like this. Now the flaps, they do rip off at a certain point, as you saw. They rip off at around 520-ish. That is good, but well, you can have this sometimes. We just rip them off. Be careful with them. Acceleration in the plane in a straight line is nothing spectacular actually. It's decent. In a dive it's very good though. It does accelerate nicely in a dive. You have excellent energy retention in the horizontal and very good in the vertical. With an excellent climb rate as well, by the way. This plane really climbs well, especially with web. Awesome. Turn time in the plane is decent, good with flaps, and the flaps rip off at 520, as I said. Now, this performance is ideally suited for the vertical maneuvers. You will see me here what I'm doing constantly in stall maneuvers with plane, whether it's on low altitude or on high altitude. The plane can be at both altitudes and perform well. Mid-range as well. Just try to get people to get into the vertical with you and you'll have a lot of fun with this plane. Of course you do have to judge whether a plane has been climbing for you already and it's at the end of its energy state, or whether it has been going in a straight line for a long time, picking up speed and has a high energy state. But this plane has very good performance in the vertical, both with the climb rate helping, vertical energy retention helping, and the stall speed helping, which is all in there. It's very nice, and it's just a great plane for it. A roll rate in the plane is decent, and at its best at that speed between some 300 and 500 kilometers an hour. Otherwise it's average. It's nothing spectacular, that's for sure. It just ticks to decent when you're in that speed range. Overall maneuverability is close to decent. It definitely turn time is alright. It's nothing bad. You can surprise some people with the flaps. Nothing except the most dedicated turn fighters. But this is a small plane with a decent turn circle that can do you a lot of good. So it can go to the turn fighting role, but not against dedicated turn fighters. So be aware of that. Overheating is very present in the plane, especially with web. It cools off relatively fast, but I've seen some faster cool-offs. But she definitely only overheats when you're webbing a lot, so yeah, be aware of that. Durability in the plane is decent. It has good armor. Pilot protection is quite good. It also has armor protection around the fuel tank, which is of course beneficial for fires and stuff like that. But she doesn't take damage very well. She doesn't fly very well with damage. And although it can take a lot of damage, when you do take damage, it's often back to the airfield with you. And there are some planes in other nations that take damage better than this plane. And well, it is something to think about. Be careful about being hit. It's something you should always do, of course, because you want to survive. But hey, that's what it is. Repair cost in the plane is nothing spectacular. It's average. It's around average. I think I looked at a few other planes that are around this battle rating, and premium planes usually are lower than the regular 3 planes. But this one is around on par. Seems to be average. So you can definitely make a good profit with this thing. I think it was around 6,700 or something. And you can easily make 20, 30,000, maybe 40,000 silver lions on a good day with this thing. And you can easily make a profit with the plane. There are some good multipliers on it, so it's all right. So all in all, an energy fighter that can boom and zoom and turn fight a little bit as well. Although some would say it can be very nice, but it definitely depends on the pilot when you're facing dedicated turn fighters. It cannot outturn everything. It's gonna be tricky against the good turning Spitfires and the I-16s, and I-16s may not be the best example. That's a different battle rating. But it will definitely turn with some of the Americans easily. Japanese going to be tricky, except if it's one of the boom and zoomers that the Japanese have. So there is a lot of planes that this plane can definitely compete against in the maneuverability range, even though yeah, she doesn't have the best roll rate. I get killed here, but I keep shooting. Want to get this guy? We do finally get it. So we trade off here. Unfortunate, but those things are so dangerous to attack, the BE6s. Terrible planes with those 23s. But anyway, this is a very enjoyable energy fighter. Fantastic install maneuvers, and she can function very well as a boom and zoomer as well. Very, very great planes. I love the 109s. I haven't mentioned that yet. They're awesome to fly. Let's see, what did we get? Rank does not matter. Final blow, terror of the sky, balancer, 63,000 silver lions and 24,000 research points. I'll see you in the conclusion. Hey guys, so here we are after the match. Now the main question, of course, should I buy this plane? Do I recommend it? Yes. There is no other rank 4 Swedish premiums right now. And this one is an awesome one. It's a Bf 109 G6. Hey, what else do you want in life? There's other great planes, but this is an awesome plane. You can have a lot of fun in it. You can have a lot of fun with stall fighting, energy fighting, and that is a very enjoyable way to fly a plane. She can transition into turning against most planes, especially boom and zoomers and energy fighters. And she can also boom and zoom, so you can transition between all the roles, which is very, very nice. Which is a very versatile thing for a plane to have, and makes it very nice as a fighter. You also have a lot of options in guns, gun pods, bombs, rockets. You can choose and fit to your liking, which is also very nice. So yeah, I can definitely recommend this 109. It's a very versatile 109, and in general, these planes are great to fly. It's not very unique, but it is very good. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the review. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button, become part of this community. If you are already a subscriber, don't forget to like the video, do leave me a comment, and if you really feel like helping out today, make sure to share the video with your friends and let them know about the channel.